Let's begin today's story, or tragedy rather, with a reading from my handy-dandy CNN. Two people were killed in a murder-suicide at UCLA on Wednesday, prompting a campus-wide lockdown and forcing hundreds of terrified students to hide in buildings, already messing up. The situation was contained by shortly after noon, and there was no ongoing threat to the campus. Okay, that's their messing up. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck said police found a weapon and no suspects remain at large. UCLA said classes were canceled for the rest of Wednesday but are expected to resume Thursday, except for the engineering school where the death occurred. Classes there will resume Monday, officials said. Beck said the shooting took place in a small building a small office in the engineering building. He said he did not know whether the dead were students. Authorities had received reports of an active shooter in or near the building, Los Angeles police officer Tony M. said. Officials put the campus on lockdown as authorities investigated. Throngs of police with long guns patrolled the streets of the campus of more than 40,000 students. Just want to make sure I had that number correct. SWAT officers and dozens of squad cars filled the area as police tried to clear campus buildings floor by floor. Freshman Teddy Metox said she was in a cafeteria getting breakfast with about 100 other students when the shooting commenced. "We got the alert," and the woman said. "This is not a joke. Everyone gets to the back of the dining hall because we have to stay away from the windows," she said. "We're crowded back here. We've been here for at least an hour and a half. People are crying, they're nervous, they're shaking. I have not stopped shaking for the last hour and a half." UCLA officials said they will review all campus safety procedures. "We're pleased in the way notifications went out, troubled by some reports of unlocked doors. We want to review everything," said Scott Vaughn, UCLA's executive vice counselor and provost. UCLA has also extended counseling service over the next few days to serve all the students who may be in need, Boggs said. Los Angeles police it should be investigating the shooting, according to university officials. Police urge residents to avoid the UCLA campus. CNN law enforcement analyst Tom Fuentes said locking down a large university in an urban area is a monumental task. UCLA engineering building is in the middle of a very densely populated part of Los Angeles. UCLA's final exams are scheduled for the next week with graduation set for Friday. The engineering school's senior class dinner was scheduled Thursday night. According to UCLA, the school is known as the birthplace of the internet because in 1969, the first transmission will become the internet was sent from engineering school's Bolter Hall. Okay, so now that I finally finished reading that, it's so interesting how things matter a little bit more when they hit closer to home. And that's not to say I've never really been bothered by these shootings in other places. Those have certainly troubled me as well, but it's just the idea of driving past UCLA, seeing the campus, seeing the students, going up to the hospital when there were sick relatives, all of these different experiences I've had around or on that campus, and now this. So it just makes these incidents that end up on CNN seem just a smidge more real, if that makes any sense. And again, I'm not trying to downplay other events that have happened in the past. I'm just stating what I feel kind of gives this a little, I don't want to say a little bit more relevance, but it definitely makes it more grounded in reality. It does, because I hear things that happen in Egypt and France and Jersey and Oregon. They just, I know they occurred, but they don't hit as close to home as this did. Now, you had a number of people stating their fears and their cautions and their concerns. This one person is stating how they shook for an hour and a half or couldn't stop shaking for an hour and a half. And in really thinking about that and listening to it, I genuinely believe that, because I know people in real life who, even when there's not a shooting, if they hear just any type of sound that may seem troubling, they'll get scared and they will become frightful, and they have a right to be, and I certainly don't see why they wouldn't be. But it goes to that tone of fearing for one's life because there is the threat of it being extinguished today or shortly afterward or around this time. It's just all over the place. So I'm really convinced that was genuine fear that I just read. The other thing that's major to take away from this is that UCLA isn't a school that, in my view, or from as far as I know, has had really any history of just not even gun violence, but incidents. I mean, every time I hear of the school, it's always some kind of academic achievement or some new policy they're changing. And, it really is something that I think people who go there just do not do this. And that's why it's so surprising to me. I thought people, when they were stating it in my class, there was only one story on CBS about it, which I kind of glossed over right afterward. But I really thought it was just it was a misfire, as in, we're going to find out, somebody was just playing with firecrackers, or, something that, if it was shooting, it was for some class. It didn't seem as though it could be factual, but it is. And I'm just glad that even though there were 2 deaths, it wasn't some massive slaughter of people, because we've had that in these other schools, be it Columbine, Virginia Tech, and you really can't account for the loss of life when as those 2 cases seem to have no motive apart from just an act of aggression, which could have been confronted earlier on but was not given the proper attention. And I really am glad that at least there was really no actual body count technically. You had these 2 people dying, that's unfortunate, but I'm really glad it wasn't some massacre as we've seen at these other schools. That is a relief beyond anything I could comprehend. And I think about, again, the relations I've had with that school, and just walking past people on that campus. That could have been one of them. That wasn't too long ago. Or walking or driving past and seeing people walk around campus. That school holds some of the brightest people in this country. And I don't say that to brag about. I have no affiliation with UCLA. I'm not a student. I probably will never get in, whatever. They have some of the brightest people in the country there, and I know that if they were to lose their lives, we would be losing potential, and it would go forever unrealized. It would just be snuffed out ridiculously fast before it could even have any type of impact on society whatsoever. So I'm very just relieved we didn't have this major incident. And yes, this was worth being worried about. This was worth being scared about. Now, I'm not particularly a fan of the police chief. I guess I've never been, because he just seems more of a figurehead who just makes comments and doesn't really actually try to do anything. But, I'm glad people tried to take things in their hands and put the situation in place to where we wouldn't have potentially a more threatening result, where we have bodies stacked up on top of each other. I commend the leadership of the people of UCLA, as well as the LAPD, for their actions over the course of this incident that happened today. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.